Your father tried to ride one out between two worlds. That's what fucked him up. If you want to survive, you either a civilian or a gangster. There ain't no in between. Stay in your lane, all in or all out. If you get distracted, you did.
Yo, I heard from you in a minute. Yeah, I do. What the fuck is going on though? All right, so tell them niggas to bring the smoke. We'll come lay them the fuck out. Simple. Come on, we family for life. Send me the details, and I'll be there. I'm on my way.
So alas, Power Origins and Power Legacy have finally been confirmed. And man, we have so much to get into with this video, so many different topics, so much information. And it's crazy because this is just a droplet of information that they've kind of given out, right? Like, you know how Stars is, guys. They like to drop bombshells on us randomly. I honestly didn't think we would get this information or any announcement like this until Power Book Force is over. So the fact that they've already given us these little tidbits means there's a lot more information to come, and definitely more stuff that we can expect in the near future once Force comes through and we get Raising Kanan Season 5. But before we even get to Power Legacy, I do want to chop it up a little bit about Power Origins and kind of everything that's kind of happened as far as this show. Now, I do recall, I think it was sometime last year, I think it was like the day before that they came out with the Power Book 2 Ghost trailer. They announced Power Origins, and then the following day they announced that Power Book 2 Ghost Season 4 was going to be the final season, and how they were pursuing the story of young Ghost and Tommy. This was about a year ago, right? And we haven't heard anything about it since then up until now. So it's been about a year, and they still really haven't gone into real production as far as the show. The announcement they made today was pretty much confirming that they now are curating a writer's room, pretty much meaning that they're going to start actually talking about writing the show and talking about what story they want to tell. And I think the reason that they did this is because now that Raising Kanan Season 5 is already done and locked in, and the show is over as far as, you know, them doing other seasons with Raising Kanan, unless I'm mistaken and they get some sort of late renewal, which I don't really think will happen. Raising Kanan Season 5 will be the last season, and they'll kind of just go from there. Now, as far as Power Origins, right, it only makes sense. You see the introduction of Breeze. You see how Ghost and Tommy are likely going to pop up in, you know, sometime in the end of the season of Raising Kanan Season 5, and then they're going to have that transition. They're really good at timing, right? They want to time everything together so that everything kind of comes together crisply, so that when they have these shows come out, there's not a huge waiting period in between each show. You combine the fact that they just started building their writer's room, and they're just now starting to create the story of how they want the story to move forward, and, you know, how they want to outline the show to be. It tells you like they're a long way from casting and really having a real script down and things of that nature. So after Raising Kanan Season 5, they're really going to have to speed things up to try to get a show out within the next year. So it's likely that we'll get Power Origins sometime in 2027. And, you know, some people are saying that we might get, you know, the Tariq and Tommy spinoff in 2028. So that's crazy. I mean, your boy's 25 years old. By the time these shows are out, I'm gonna be pushing 30, so it's gonna be very interesting to see how they kind of do all of this. But I'm happy that we got the announcement, so now we know what we can expect, and it's just a waiting game as far as, you know, Power Origins mostly. And let's talk about Power Legacy. When it comes to Power Legacy, I do want to shout out my boy It's Just B. He's a good friend of mine who's also a content creator, YouTuber on here, and we're pretty much talking about how over a year ago we talked about him pretty much coming up with the name Power Legacy, and him doing like a whole outline story of it and everything like that, and posting on his YouTube. And then like someone had created like pretty much like a graphic of Tariq and Tommy, and they titled it Legacy. And now we fast forward a year later, and they pretty much taken the name for themselves. So that was a funny little joke that we had between me and him. But man, I mean, Power Legacy, Tariq and Tommy. I felt like this was the only really show that they could really have done, right? This was the next kind of step. And a lot of people are very iffy, or were iffy about this show, because they feel like, well, what other stories there to tell when it comes to Tommy and Tariq, specifically Tommy, with the fact that he's getting old.